Wes Streeting joins us now. Very good morning to you,
Good morning.
Health Secretary.
What a lovely interview. I could have listened to that interview for another half an hour. What a privilege.
I totally agree, because this testimony is so important, what Arthur did during the war and all of his colleagues and the ones who are not able to tell their stories, and Arthur is speaking for them. You are so right. Unfortunately, we do have to do an interview with you, Mr. Streeting, about things which you may not find.
That's what the viewers are saying as well. Keep Arthur going. Why have you got this guy on?
Let me put a difficult subject to you, and that is about the winter fuel payment, because there are millions of pensioners who have lost out, and, you know, generally accepted now that on the doorsteps this is a huge issue. There was confusion this morning because Pippa Carrera, very trusted journalist in The Guardian, said that you were going to do a review as a government. Then Downing Street said, absolutely not, we're staying the course. Are you considering seriously about sticking to having withdrawn this winter fuel payment of up to £300 from millions of pensioners? Or could you consider a world in which you reintroduce it?
Yeah, I saw the report, and as you said, Downing Street's been clear that there isn't a sort of review going on the policy. But I'm not going to insult your viewers by pretending that it wasn't a massive issue on the doorstep in a run-up to last Thursday's local elections. And we know, taking those results on the chin, that unless people feel change in our country, then they'll look for change elsewhere. They voted for change with Labour last year. We've done a lot in the last, 9-10 months that we've been in office, but I also appreciate that, when I'm on saying NHS waiting lists have fallen 6 months, last 6 months, and that we delivered our 2 million more appointments in the first year 7 months early, we're now over 3 million more appointments. If you've just come off an NHS waiting list, you'll be thinking, great, I've just felt the difference. If you're one of 7 million cases still on the waiting list, you'll be thinking, well, what's he talking about? I'm still waiting. And both those things are true. NHS waiting lists are coming down, but there are still people waiting. We've got to go a lot faster to get the waiting list down.
I just want to interrupt, because I appreciate that health waiting list NHS is your priority, but I just want to stick to this issue of the winter fuel payments just for now. Are you going to stay the course and maintain the withdrawal from any pensioner whose income is over £11,500? Or is there room for manoeuvre? Do you think it is a big enough issue that could continue to cause you problems where you might adjust the threshold for the winter fuel payment?
Well, the message from Number 10 this morning is that the policy is here to stay. I've seen speculation about changes to thresholds and so on, but the message has been clear. And that whether it's winter fuel or employers' national insurance or changes to non-DOMs or the tax breaks for private schools, the reason those decisions have been taken is so that we can do things like invest in our NHS, and it means I can come on this morning and report back on what we're doing.
I just want to pin you down on it, because whenever a government minister says it's very clear, it's quite often not clear. You've said that Number 10 has made it clear that the policy is going to stay, but then you mentioned within the same answer that the threshold might change. Are you simply saying there's speculation the threshold might change, or that there is a possibility that the threshold might change?
No, I was saying I've read the speculative reports in the media this morning, but Downing Street have been very clear that there's no change planned.
Right, no change at all. There's not going to be any change to the policy. So any hope that any pensioners might get their winter fuel payment back, you are ruling that out 100% this morning.
Yep, no change that I'm aware of, and that's the line that's come from Downing Street this morning as well. I think what I would say to people watching is that, there are some things that we've done in the last 9-10 months that have been unpopular in terms of raising the money, whether it's this or whether it's employers' national insurance. I mean, even the VAT on private schools and the non-DOM changes have been we've taken some criticism for those decisions, but it's only because of those decisions that we've been able to invest £26 billion in our NHS to get our waiting list coming down. Today we're announcing the upgrade of 1,000 GP practices across the country. those upgrades with extra rooms, extra space that GPs have told us they need follows 1,500 more GPs onto the front line by the end of March, which we put in place, the extra funding for GPs. But the space that this provides, the extra treatment rooms and consultation rooms, that means we'll be able to provide an extra 8 million appointments a year. And now we're just over 40 minutes into the 8 a.m. scramble after the bank holiday. These are things that will make a real difference for people who've been so frustrated that when they've needed it, the NHS hasn't always been there for them, whether it's getting a GP appointment or an ambulance or treatment on time.
The problem is Wes Streeting, because you, as you said, you were on the doorstep, you were at the by-elections, at the races last week. You know how strongly people feel about the winter fuel allowance and it being taken away from pensioners. And the Prime Minister said on Saturday in his article, "We get it." He said, "We get it. I'm not just going to say it's midterm problems, we get it." But you seem to be saying what we get is you've just got to wait a bit longer, it'll all be OK. Whereas I think people are thinking, aren't there some areas where we get it means you need to change? Is there anything which you think you need to change course on, or is it all just carry on business as usual?
Well, I don't think this country can go on with just business as usual. We were elected to deliver change and people have got to feel it. And so I think the frustration is at the moment, and by the way, it's not just a frustration for the public, we feel it as government ministers as well. Like if the Chancellor was sat here, she could say, well, interest rates have fallen 3 times and wages are rising faster than the cost of living, not least because 3 million lowest paid workers got an increase in the minimum wage last month. Now, that's great if you've begun to feel that increase in your own pay. Maybe you've refixed your mortgage recently and it's better than it would have been if interest rates have stayed higher. But does that wash away a cost of living crisis straight away? No. Like, as I'm getting waiting lists down and investing in GPs, thanks to the decision the Chancellor's taken, opposed by other parties, you know, if you've got an appointment or if you've been seen, you're feeling the change, but lots of people won't have felt that change yet. So that's what the Prime Minister means when he says we've got to go further and faster, whether it's on cost of living, whether it's on the NHS or border security, which is another big issue. You know, deportations, Home Secretary has done 24,000 deportations. They're up significantly. I just want to, but there's much more to do.
Mr. Streeting, before we let you go, we did a big story this morning, a Good Morning Britain investigation on the shocking rise in the number of ambulances being called to secondary schools because children are vaping. You are the Health Secretary. I know that there's a bill in progress over vapes, but what can we do to stop under 18s vaping and being hospitalised?
Yeah, we're cracking down on youth vaping, particularly looking at the marketing, the advertising, the selling, the packaging, the flavouring. I'm in no doubt that some very unscrupulous people in that industry are actively targeting young people. I mean, my constituency office is near one of our local schools, and you can see on the CCTV footage plumes of vapour around groups of kids walking to and from school. The fact that young people are being hospitalised because of the damage that this is doing to their lungs and to their bodies should be a warning to every young person, every parent, every teacher in the land that vaping is harmful, particularly for young people.
Thank you.
Is it useful as a stop smoking tool? Yes. But we've got to clamp down on this, and this government is taking action to do that.
Wes Streeting, thanks very much indeed for joining us. Thank you.